I'm Tim Queen, and today I'm going to share with you my insights about LinkedIn automation in 2019. Is it still working? Should you do it? What are the alternatives? What is the best thing to do on LinkedIn in 2019? Before we get started, I want to explain what LinkedIn automation means. It basically means that you are contacting, you're building a network, you're reaching out to certain people, and then you email them or mass message them in bulk with like email templates which contains placeholder. You might have seen this like a million times. It's basically like this: hi, first name, and then comma, and then they explain something. And they might have some placeholders in between which makes it appear as if they have personalized it to you, but it's just like a placeholder. For example, they might say, hi, first name, I'm reaching out to you because of role title at company name, and then they write some stuff. So there's different tools on LinkedIn which can do this in form of direct messages or in-mails. Then you have tools which can basically require you to extract the email address of someone, and then they have different tools to send out bulk emails. Same idea, both scenarios. It's against LinkedIn's terms of service to do this, and they are really cracking down hard on those tools. So I have observed this for quite a bit of time by now. And what I'm seeing is that the LinkedIn security team is really nailing down like to block those extensions. They have implemented a lot of like detection mechanisms for tools, like they might detect the browser extension which is running. They also might detect like some third-party tools. They can identify like people running certain proxies, and most of all they're using artificial intelligence and machine learning to understand how normal users behave. Just as an example, no person is awake 24/7 and is writing a new text message every minute, or even like a pattern like between 1 minute and 1 minute 30. This is not happening. Nobody is acting this way. This system's becoming much better in detecting anomalies like unusual user behavior, and then they lock down your account and you might get blocked out from using LinkedIn for the rest of your life. So I really highly recommend against doing this. It puts you into hot waters. You might not have permission to email them or to send them out mass messages. People might get really pissed. People might not take this lightly that you're only sending them like a mass message instead of a personalized one, and it might also like ruin every chance you had to get this person as a customer. Why is that? You know what you're communicating if you're sending out a mass message? You're telling them, I don't even care about you enough to spend a bit of time to write something personalized to you. You're disrespecting the receiver of your message. This is what you're doing if you're sending out mass messages in bulk. But the more important point is why you shouldn't send out mass messages in bulk is that it's not really working. You have to see, most people don't update their LinkedIn profile and keep this up to date. A lot of times you're gonna have so many mismatches. Someone is no longer working at the company. This is like the sad reality. Most people don't update their LinkedIn profile like whenever they change jobs. You might think you reach the CMO of a certain company, but the person might already working somewhere else. You're still sending them a message, so they're not going to react to it. By not making sure that someone is qualified enough, you're reaching a lot of emails, you're wasting a lot of like screen time for people who are like no longer working in a certain space. Secondly, you want to really make sure that you create a really good first impression when you're reaching out to someone. And doing a little bit of research, you can spend the same amount of time with your entire team and still get the message across, but 100% personalized message. As an example, you might have someone like really researching user profile, shortlisting some that look up to date, that look like they fit the bill. Then you might have a secondary team which is just researching every one of those like pre-listed people and finding some interesting detail. They might enrich the information. They might look up who is the person in charge, what is their email address. They might go to their website. They might check something out. They might look up some details, and then they're creating a really personalized profile which will take just the same amount of time to spend them. Yes, you're sending out far less messages, but they are much more targeted, much more personalized, and much more likely to get any response. You don't have to rely on mass messages unless you really don't care about it. You just want to spam people. So this is one of the biggest trends in 2019. LinkedIn is going to hit on much harder on those automation tools. You can forget about using those direct message and in-mail tools in the long run. LinkedIn algorithm is going to be much more effective at detecting those tools, at locking those accounts down. Then a recent change, which I was really highly voting for, is LinkedIn has now made the ability to download your contact list an opt-in version. So you have to actually actively opt in for someone to download your email address. It's now off by default. So what does that mean? So that was like one of the most common ways of spamming people on LinkedIn. People would just request an archive of their data, which would contain one CSV file for connections, and this file conveniently had like a column for email address. So anyone, you might connect to 30,000 people, you just get 30,000 emails, and then people would just put those email addresses on a newsletter, or they use like some cold emailing outlet tool. So this is now gone. That means that this path is gone, like the cold emails. It's also the direct message part. They're going to cramp down on this, so this is not going to be viable anymore. So you actually have to actively rely on those ethical, authentic ways where you have to do a little bit of more work to get this done, but it's going to be so much more effective than anyone else. I highly recommend that you don't even try making those tools work for you, and then the direct message tools will only get you one thing: to get your account locked down. So don't even get started on those LinkedIn automation tools. The AIs are getting much better, the detection is going to improve tremendously, and at some point it's going to be impossible to do anything. So don't even like try to build a business around this. Try to do it the honest way, which is also the most effective way, and which really helps you to stand out and to build real relationships instead of doing a numbers game. Think about this like in a dating space. Like you could go out to the street and you ask like any random person, do you want to go on a date with me? Or even like worse, like you said, do you want to marry me? Do you want to marry me? Do you want to marry me? This is not how you approach people. Like maybe you find someone who's really desperate and was just waiting to be approached and says like, yes, of course. But do you really want to have someone like this in a relationship? You want to be like more specific. You want to qualify people, so you don't want to make the same proposition to everyone. You want to make sure that you see, is this actually someone like I would get along with? And then only at a later stage you want to make like something like a marriage proposal. So don't just annoy people and spam people. Do it the correct way. Go think in some of qualification phases, and then shortlist some. Do a little bit of research, narrow it down. Do a little bit of pre-qualification, your first mission, which really demonstrated that you are really caring about the person. You have done your due diligence, you have done your research. Make the person feel that you actually spend some time to learn something about them, and then take it from there. Take it in different phases. Don't just try to dump everything in and think you can close the sale in one message. So this is my thoughts on LinkedIn automation tools for 2019. I highly recommend that you don't even get started with any of them, or if you're already doing it, to switch to a manual approach, to have really a plan in place. If you have the system and the process in place, you can just be as effective and quick to getting those messages sent out as any automated way. Let me know in the comments below. Had you had any successes with automation tools, cold emailing tools? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure that you hit the like button and click on subscribe and turn notifications on to get email updates when I upload my next video here on YouTube.